personality of Godhead, and whose explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic evidence, be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction. Such great personalities can be satisfied only by their own activities, which are distributed amongst human society out of their unlimited mercy.
Yes, so here Prithamara is saying actually there is no way to repay the Brahmanas for the knowledge. And therefore, towards the end of the purport, Prabhupada speaks about this word Vinodapatram. The word Vinodapatram can be divided in two words, Vina and Udapatram, or can be understood as one word, Vinodapatram, which means joker. A joker's activity simply arouses laughter, and a person who tries to repay the spiritual master or teacher of the transcendental message of Krishna becomes a laughing stock, just like a joker, because it is not possible to repay such a debt. The best friend and benefactor of all people is one who awakens humanity to its original Krishna consciousness. So therefore, it is not possible to repay the debt to the spiritual master for the knowledge one is getting. And that point was told by Srila Prabhupada also, that actually it is not possible, but one can try to repay the debt by doing some service in the spiritual master's mission. So therefore, how much ever service we actually render within ISKCON, it is still insufficient to repay the debt to Srila Prabhupada. So sometimes some devotees say, oh, I am doing so much service, what am I getting in return? No, how much ever service one does, it is still less. That should be the consciousness. It is still insufficient to repay the debts. If one thinks he is able to repay the debt, he simply becomes Vinodapatram, clown, because it is not possible to repay the debts.
What is the meaning of other? Vinodapatram. Vinodapatram is a joker. Vinodapatram.
So that is, you see in the word to word, Vina means without, and Udapatram means offering of water in cupped hands. So yes, as you can see in the translation, then Prabhupada is saying that can be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction. So that means, what can I give in return? I can only hold some water in my cupped palms and hope that you will be satisfied with that. So except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction. So that means Vina Udapatram means without offering of water in cupped hands, how can I satisfy? So all what I can do is offer water in cupped hands. So that is like,
Taking water from the Ganga.
yes, exactly. So it's like taking water from the Ganga and offering it back to the Ganga. So what else can I do? That much I can do. I can offer some water in my cupped hands and hope that the great sages will be satisfied with this. There is nothing more I can give. So it's an expression of humility actually. So I cannot actually give anything in return, but by offering water in cupped hands, we hope that you will be satisfied. So that's the understanding. And the other meaning is Vinodapatram. So in this way, that's how Prithu Maharaj reciprocated with the knowledge that he got from the four Kumaras, especially Sanat Kumar. Okay, now continue please.
The great sage Maitreya continued, being thus worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras who were masters of devotional service became very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them.
You can continue to read some 3-4 translations.
Amongst great personalities, Maharaj Prithu was the chief by virtue of his fixed position in relation to spiritual enlightenment. He remained satisfied as one who has achieved all success in spiritual understanding.
Here, Prabhupada is speaking about satisfaction. Remaining fixed in devotional service gives one the utmost in self-satisfaction. Very important point. Remaining fixed in devotional service gives one the utmost in self-satisfaction. And actually, self-satisfaction can be achieved only by pure devotees who have no desire other than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That self-satisfaction is actually a great benediction by performing pure devotional service. That is the tushti, pushti, shuddhapaya that we speak about. Okay, next.
Being
So now there is glorification of Maharaj Prithu's rule and his qualities. Okay, good.
Being self-satisfied, Maharaj Prithu executed his duties as perfectly as possible, according to the time and his situation, strength and financial position. His only aim in all his activities was to satisfy the Absolute Truth. In this way, he duly acted.
Right. So his only aim was to satisfy the Supreme Absolute Truths.
Maharaj
Continue.
Prithu completely dedicated himself to be an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transcendental to material nature. Consequently, all the fruits of his activities were dedicated to the Lord, and he always thought of himself as the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of everything.
Continue. Here, Srila Prabhupada gives quite an elaborate purport on how one can actually dedicate all one's activities to the Supreme Lord. How, just like one statement I'm reading, in one's home or in a temple, the deity is considered the proprietor of everything, and everyone is considered the deity's eternal servant. So that can be the consciousness, whether one is living at home or in temple, and that is how one can make one's activities perfect. In the next paragraph, Prabhupada is writing, events in the material world are not taking place blindly. If one always remains a servant of Krishna and engages everything in his service, one is accepted as Jivan Mukta, liberated soul, even during his lifetime within the material world. General liberation takes place after one gives up this body, but one who lives according to the example of Prithu Maharaj is liberated even in this lifetime. Okay, continue.
Maharaj Prithu, who was very opulent due to the prosperity of his entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for the gratification of his senses, he remained unattached, exactly like the sun, which is unaffected in all circumstances.
Right. So one may perform so many activities but still remain unattached. Go ahead.
Being situated in the liberated position of devotional service, Prithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities but also begot 5 sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire.
So Prabhupada is talking about Garbhadan Sanskar. Right. Continue.
After begetting 5 sons named Vijitash, Dhumrakesh, Haryakesh, Haryaksha, Dravina and Braka, Prithu Maharaj continued to rule the planet. He accepted all the qualities of the deities who governed all the planets.
Good.
Since Maharaj Prithu was a perfect devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wanted to protect the Lord's creation by pleasing the various citizens according to their various desires. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj used to please them in all respects by his own words, mentality, walks and gentle behavior.
Yes, so he was trying to please the citizens by his works, mentality, words, works, and gentle behavior. Right. So as the representative of the Supreme Lord. Continue. 56.
Maharaj Prithu became as celebrated as a king as Somraj, the king of the moon. He was also powerful and exacting, just like the sun god who distributes heat and light, and at the same time exacts all the planetary waters.
So he used to take taxes, but at the same time use them, not keep in his pocket. Continue.
Maharaja Prithu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders any more than one could conquer fire itself. He was so strong that he was compared to Indra, the king of heaven, whose power is insuperable. On the other hand, Maharaja Prithu was also a tolerant as the earth, and in fulfilling various desires of human society, he was like heaven itself.
Continue.
Just as rainfall satisfies everyone's desires, Maharaj Prithu used to satisfy everyone. He was like the sea, in that no one could understand his depths. And he was like Meru, the king of hills, in the fixity of his purpose.
You can continue to read, Prabhu. The rest of the translations you just read another 4.
Maharaj Prithu's intelligence and education was exactly like that of Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. His opulence was comparable to the Himalayan mountains, where all valuable jewels and metals are stocked. He possessed great riches like Kubera, the treasurer of heavenly planets, and no one could reveal his secrets, for they were like the demigod Varnas. In his bodily strength and in the strength of his senses, Maharaj Prithu was as great as the wind, which can go anywhere and everywhere. As far as his intolerance was concerned, he was just like the all-powerful Rudra expansion of Lord Shiva or Sadashiva. In his bodily beauty, he was just like Cupid, and in his thoughtfulness, he was like a lion. In his affection, he was just like Swayambhu Manu, and in his ability to control, he was like Lord Brahma. In his personal behavior, Prithu Maharaj exhibited all good qualities, and in spiritual knowledge, he was exactly like Brihaspati. In self-control, he was like the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. As far as his devotional service was concerned, he was a great follower of devotees who was attached to cow protection and rendering all services to the spiritual master and the Brahmanas. He was perfect in his shyness and in his gentle behavior, and when he engaged in some philanthropic activity, he worked as if he were working for his own personal self. Throughout the whole universe, in the higher, lower, and middle planetary systems, Prithu Maharaj's reputation was loudly declared, and all the ladies and saintly persons heard his glories, which were as sweet as the glories of Lord Ramachandra.
Thus, in the purports of the 4th canto, 22nd chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Prithu Maharaj's Meeting with the 4 Kumaras. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So tomorrow we'll start with the 23rd.